Okay, this is coming out of Findlay, Ohio, and it's being sent by Tammy Cooper, who works with a great company out there. I believe it's her company. It's called Superior Trim Molded Products. So they're shipping stuff all the time, so I'm only guessing that we're going to be really impressed at their packing job. Let's check it out. And this is her dream machine. This is going to be, I believe, a Singer 1591. So let's see what we find. Boy, that's a nice pad. Look at this. And it looks like there's more than one in here. There's a total of 3 on top. So if the folks that brought it by UPS wanted to try to smash the top or impact the top, look at what they would have had to have gone through. I mean, this stuff, it's malleable. So it's going to take a shock like you wouldn't believe. So well done, Tammy, as far as protecting the top of your shipment. Holy mackerel, I think that's pretty intense. Someone's been listening about packing, I think. Okay, so let me show you what we have inside. I have to figure out the best way to tackle this. So it looks like we've got some eBay padding, and this is 2 boxes. I'm going to see if I can separate these boxes. That might be our best bet to try to do that. Trying to feel where it is. It looks like it's joined right at the bottom, right about down here on this edge. So we'll see. We should be able to pull these apart, but I just want to be careful if we pull them apart that nothing falls out or drops. This is also, you can't obviously feel it like I can, but the gauge of this box, unlike some of the ones recently that have been real spongy, this one is real rigid. It's I don't know the science of boxes per se and how they rate them as far as their strength, but I would say that this is up near the top of that scale. So Tammy's business that she works with, or is the proprietor of, I'm not quite sure, they use some real good quality boxes for sure. Trying to see if I got it all free. I just want to be real careful if I separate these 2 boxes. Let's see if I can put something else on. I've got a different streaming service right now, so hopefully we have success in the music streaming without too many interrupts. We'll see. All right, see if this will come apart. Not quite yet. Other than sheer tension between the 2 boxes, I don't know what's holding it at this point, to be honest with you. So I am unfortunately going to have to destroy this beautiful box that Tammy included. I'll kind of come down the side like this. I can see on the inside as I look inside that there's nothing that I'm going to hit. So hopefully that'll allow this to release. And I'll set the depth of it too so we don't go too deep. There we go. It's kind of hard to see. You can see that as well from your vantage point. It's kind of hard to see what we have in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch now from using this cutter to a pair of scissors to see if I can open this up a little bit and just have a clearer picture of how Tammy has this packed. Well, actually, there we go. So she had a single layer of bubble wrap kind of canopying the top of it, along with those real thick pads that I showed you. So real good protection so far that I'm seeing for her machine. Then we got some additional padding here, and this is, you can see it from the side. That's probably a good 2.5 inches thick. See if I can work that out of the way. And it looks like her 1591, I'm starting to see the top of it now, is in a bentwood cover case. And you remember we saw those in the recent premiere that I released of our tour to Scotland, to the factory. We saw how those bentwoods were actually formed and made. So I'm going to pull that out. This is a lot thinner, but that's still going to afford some real nice protection on the side. And I'll have to ask Tammy, I'm guessing that she doesn't want all these back, because I pack in a slightly different method. But we will see. Throw those to the side, and now we are down to the bentwood cover, and it looks like it is packed with the bottom separate from the top. So I'm just going to take the bentwood cover out. And I don't know if this happened in transit or not, but can you see that damage right here on the front? We've actually got, looks like a punch through. It's hard to tell from the inside. Yeah, it looks like it was punched through. We actually have a few remnants of wood right here. And that may have been pre-existing, but nonetheless it is damage. We got this handle real loose on top too. We'll have to fix that, because if you're carrying your machine, you don't want to be carrying your machine and all of a sudden have that handle give way. Otherwise, you're not only going to potentially destroy your machine, but you're also going to destroy your base as the weight of that machine comes down against that wood base. I mean, wood is only so strong when it comes, especially when you're manipulating it and bending it under pressure, as you saw in that premiere video of our visit to Scotland. So I'm going to set this bentwood cover to the side, and we'll see if we can get down to the base and the actual machine. And we're starting to be able to see the machine peeking through now. You can see that, right? In the shot, we've got a little canopy of bubble wrap, it looks like, probably just draped over the top of the machine. And now we're actually to the point where we can begin to see that 1591 in the bottom of this box. But all in all, I would say that Tammy did really a fabulous job of protecting her machine as far as I can see so far. She didn't want to leave anything to chance. And I mean, she, from where I receive other machines, she's not a world away. She's just over in Ohio. But still, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles that she transported the machine. Now, this is the only thing I would be critical of so far. She put a wrap of bubble wrap around her foot controller, but it isn't anchored. It's just, it was in the harp space of the machine and just kind of wrapped like that. You always want to anchor your bubble wrap or your packing material to the object you're trying to protect. Otherwise, it jostles around as it's getting shipped and it's getting handled by whoever you're using, whether it's UPS like here, or whether it was FedEx, or whether it was USPS. You always want to anchor it down as you've seen me do. You anchor the bubble wrap. You then, I would recommend then strapping it down with stretch wrap and then taping it so it's a solid unit. That's the only little hiccup I've seen so far in Tammy's packing. Otherwise, it's been quite good. And I'm seeing some more wood fragments, and I'm also seeing that the 1591 has come loose of its mounting points in the base, which is never a good thing. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come off the tripod to allow you to look into this base that we just opened up. Whoops, I just stepped on some, nobody's shooting. Nobody's shooting. That was me stepping on the edge of the bubble wrap. All right, let's come off the tripod and I'll kind of show you what I'm seeing. You know what, at the same time, let me see if I can put on some other music. Be patient with me for a second, folks. All right, so what I can see immediately is over on this side. I'll try to zoom in on it. So over on this side, we've got wood fragments. Where am I? Which is either off the bentwood cover or somewhere else. And then we've got the machine itself. And look at what's happened over here. That's our mounting point to secure the machine to the base. And it's come completely off, not only on one side, but if we come across the machine, it's also come off of the second mounting point as well. Definitely not a good thing, and I've talked about this. When you're shipping a machine with a base, you want to anchor the machine, usually with stretch wrap. You want to anchor it, let me come out on this shot here. You want to anchor it across the machine here and around the base. You want to strap it down so that it's anchored all the way across, obviously mounted properly to the base, which it isn't right now, and you want to strap it all the way down and around several times. And we don't have any of that right now, so in transit, this machine separated from the base, as I've already shown you, which right away opens it up for potential damage, especially because even though Tammy did a very good job of packing the machine, you can see that all we had was a little bit of padding around the edges. We had that little bubble wrap canopy just kind of draped over the top of it, but we didn't have anything secured to the actual machine, as you've seen me do before, strapping it around the machine and really affording a high level of protection to that machine head. So the result here, we don't know the full extent of damage yet to the machine. I can see that this is also part of our bobbin winding assembly over here. Has also been knocked loose as well in transit, really knocked loose. And you can see little fragments of wood, as I've already shown you, all over the place. So this is always an unfortunate thing when you have someone that obviously, like Tammy, that has vested a conscious effort to really protect that machine, and now we've got a machine that has separated from the base and we don't know the full extent of the damage yet. So I'm going to go back on the tripod, and then we're going to try to remove this machine from its packing box, and we'll get it out onto the table so we can look at it a little bit more closely. Alright, we're all over the place, folks, sorry about that. Alright, so we're going to go right about there. I'll lock the camera in place. I'm gonna move that bubble wrap. Oh my gosh. I'm like a kid here trying to pop bubbles or something. All right, let me move this way out of the way. Nothing against my friends in Illinois, but it takes me back to going through big cities like Illinois, Chicago, Los Angeles, and just all the activity there, which sometimes involves gunfire. So, all right, so I believe I'm going to be able to take the machine head out because it's come loose from the base. I'll see if I can just lift it straight up. And I have my screen turned the wrong way. Give me a second here. So you can see here's the machine base. And it's hard to say. These screws on the bottom, they're going to be really hard for you to see. But these little mounting screws that screw in to hold those little mounting tabs that you saw that are attached to the base, these are not screwed in very far. So my hunch is that this was not even properly mounted to that base when Tammy carefully packaged it up and tried to get it so it was safe. But I don't see anything busted on the outside of the machine, thank goodness, so far. Including this section over here that always is really susceptible to breaking because it has a thin base of plastic for this plug-in point. So, so far so good. Thankfully, other than that first, and this is not adjusted properly as either. You can't even engage this bobbin winder. So I'm guessing that if Tammy used this machine and did any bobbin winding, she didn't do it on here. There's no way it won't even engage against the balance wheel because it's adjusted improperly. All right, so let me set this down carefully. And now we're going to see if we can get... Oh, I see what that is. I just found this on the ground. This goes on top of the spool pin. That is after I dropped it. Where in heaven's name did I just drop it? Well, I'll certainly find it. Oh, now it's on the ground again. All right, I'll put this back up on the top of the spool pin before I drop it again. And now we will see if I can kind of tip this up a little bit and we can look into the box so you can kind of see, well, maybe you'll be able to see. I may have to come off the tripod again. I'm going to make you all seasick as we come on the tripod and off the tripod and on the tripod. So now that we're looking, and here's that little, I'll go over to the machine first. Here's that little piece that I dropped on the floor. Just an adaptation to try to put a larger spool on top of there. And now we're looking at the bottom of this case. And you can begin to see the evidence of the damage that resulted with this machine coming loose. Obviously there's pedestal feet on the bottom of there's pedestal feet on the bottom of this Singer 1591. That one right there, you can see it. There's another one back there. And what happened as a result of this 1591 coming loose from the base in transit is it punched a hole in the bottom, punched more than a hole in the bottom. It busted this loose, which is supposed to be in that corner right there. So it busted that loose, and then it punched a hole right through the bottom of the bentwood case base right there. There's one, and you can't see it, but it's all the way through. I'm sticking my finger all the way through it. It went all the way through the bottom because that's a real thin veneer piece that's on the bottom of the bentwood, because the machine is never designed to be resting against it, certainly not punching through it. It's designed to be mounted on these and kind of suspended above that bottom. This just serves as a bottom to the case. So and we also have damage over here as well. You can see where it caused a significant amount of damage to that laminate bottom of the base as well, right here. So, and these are things that you know, I can use a filler to fill that in, but as far as removing this and actually replacing it, it would be cost prohibitive to do that. And when it's mounted properly, there's nothing that's going to be weight bearing against this anyway, so it really doesn't make sense to invest a significant amount of money in replacing that. But it just goes to show you the reason I harp on packing so much and preparing a machine is because of things like this. You can have the utmost care in prepping a machine for being shipped, and if one thing goes south, like here where the machine was not properly mounted to these, all of a sudden it comes loose and you have a bentwood cover base that was probably nearly perfect, and now it's sustained damage, as has the cover as well. I already showed you the cover. As that machine was jostling around, it punched a hole from the inside out on the bentwood cover case as well, the dome part. So unfortunate, very unfortunate. Let me put this back on the tripod and I'll try to get us get that base out of there so we can actually take a closer look at that base also, once I get my camera back on the tripod. There we go. I don't want to drop this camera, that's for sure. Alright, so let's zoom in a little bit. We'll be right about there. I think we'll be pretty good. I'll see if I can put on a little bit more music. And we will continue to examine this machine in the unboxing. I'll mention real quick, the songs that I played so far is Joy to the World by Jingle Punks. The second one was Christmas Homecoming by Aaron Kenny. And the next one I'm going to play is, actually I don't think I played, did I play Christmas Village already? This is Christmas, yeah, I don't think so. If I did, it's a nice tune. Okay, let me spin my screen around. And we will work at getting, oh my gosh, uh-oh. This whole base has come apart, folks. You'll see what I'm talking about shortly. I'm going to kind of press it together. Oh boy. Tammy, you're going to be a sad camper here. Just checking the bottom of the box. I've got all kinds of wood fragments from the dome cover for the bentwood case and the bottom basically just getting destroyed. You're not going to be able to see them probably, but I'll pick them up with my fingers and just kind of, yeah, all over the bottom of the box. And this again is a beautiful packing job, but we just had that little hiccup. You can see what we have going on with the base. I think you can. Just spin my screen so I can see. Yeah, you can see it. This side is literally just dropped off right there. So that side piece has come loose. We see that broken piece already. And really what we're going to see is the whole case right now. The whole bentwood base case has been compromised. See this? I'm going to come off the tripod. You got to see this up close. Oh, goodness gravy. My heart goes out to Tammy right now because I know that she really takes packing seriously, and so this is the side of the bentwood cover case base that has totally come loose. You can see here's where that part of that wood is cracked off, so it's not just a matter of it, you know, coming apart, it's broken apart. Here we've got the entire bottom of the base that has separated from the other sides. Here this side is separated all the way over to here to the compartment where the goodies are stored. Got a manual, some other goodies in there. I'll set these just in the back because the whole case has basically been destroyed. The base separation here, cracked over here. That's all supposed to be solid, obviously. And here we've got the entire bottom of the base totally shifting around. So the whole thing, you can see here, another broken piece here in between those two. Can you see that where it's split down the side? So this whole base, this is going to add, obviously, time to this project. This is going to have to be all repressed, re-glued, and made usable again so that it can actually be trustworthy to protect Tammy's 1591. Right now this base is just totally compromised in every way. You see the extent of the damage when you look at it here. We're looking all the way through from one side to the other. You see my finger kind of showing through there on the bottom. And same thing over here. We've got another punch through over here on the bottom as well where it's been damaged. So miraculously, this is really a miracle, even though it's a disaster, because the machine could have been damaged much worse. But really, what the machine did as it was being jostled around is those metal cast feet on the bottom of the machine basically destroyed the base, but the machine itself survived very nicely. And I haven't checked it out real closely yet, but you know, other than the base being in utter ruins, the machine head, all in all, seems to be in real good shape. And what I'm going to do right now is I will try to put all this together, kind of move it to the side, and then we'll get in and look a little bit closer. we'll get in and look a little bit closer at the machine head itself. Oh goodness. That used to be a case base for securing and protecting the machine. Not anymore. But we'll try to get it back to where it needs to be so it's right, obviously. Alright, so let me move Tammy's 1591 over, which, by the way, and you can see this readily, is, I'm looking for another song. So that was Christmas Village by Aaron Kenny that we just played. Now I'm going to try to do Central Park, which is a cinematic version. So let's get a little bit closer to Tammy's machine and just check it out here. So this got knocked loose, obviously, but let's look over the rest of the machine. Oh wow, more remnants here. That's all part of the either the top bentwood cover or the base itself. Little wood shards that were cracked off. Thankfully, none of these cast feet got snapped off, and it's because Tammy had some real good padding underneath it, and also the bentwood cover base took the brunt of the impact from these pointed feet. So let me just turn this to the side a little bit, and we'll look at the side on the balance wheel side a little bit too. Again, I would say that this is a Christmas miracle that the machine didn't sustain significant damage coming loose from the base as you've seen that it did. Although the light did suffer a crack right here. Let me try to get out of the light. Can you see that crack across the top? So the light as it was getting banged around when it came loose from the base, the light did sustain a crack. I haven't plugged it in obviously to see if the light is going to work, but you can see here that crack goes from here, the starting point, where am I looking? From here all the way up into the housing where the light assembly would be mounted. So we'll have to see. These are, as some of you know that have worked with vintage machines, these are pressure bands right here that hold this light assembly. It's two pieces, hold it together. So I'll probably end up taking these pressure bands off. There's two of them right there, and there's another one on the end right here that hold that all together, just to, if I have any issues with the light not working. If I don't, I probably will not invest that extra time to take it all apart, because that'll be added cost to the customer. And this is a real different type of light here. You can see the color difference where it's kind of a brown, it's a brown color. Look at it compared to this. We've got the traditional black, the ebony, and then we've got a brown type light assembly here that is stenciled with Singer. But I'll be honest with you, that's while that is original, that something odd has happened as far as that color. So I may end up asking the customer if they want that touched up so that it more closely matches the rest of the machine. It kind of stands out as a sore thumb right now a little bit. Again, another Christmas miracle. The back of this cover has not been dented either, as far as I can see. There's a little bit of rubbing on it, but this potted motor cover appears to have also survived. You know, again, in my judgment, a Christmas miracle that it wasn't dented up and damaged with it coming loose from the base like that. It really is quite a miraculous thing. And again, you know, you look at the decaling and the overall condition of this 1591 is really quite spectacular. It is in real good shape. So I think it's when we get done with it, when we get everything as it should be, when we get this base over here put back together and repaired, it's going to be quite a showpiece as well. So, but that light is a little bit of a strange anomaly. You can really see the contrast in the colors. And as we look across the front of the 1591 as well, Tammy's 1591, can see that nothing seems to have been damaged here either. This is a little bit out of alignment, this thread guide, which I can make an adjustment and get that back in line. See how it's bent forward? But that's minor compared to what could have been. You know, other than the thread guide on the front for the bobbin winder and the light being cracked. For all of this coming to pass as it was in transit, it's a Christmas miracle, folks. It really is. It's a Christmas miracle that Tammy's machine arrived as well as it did. We've got a little bit of paint scuffing there, which may have been pre-existing, but it could have also happened as a result of the machine coming loose from the base in transit. And I've got some pictures that I'm going to take of the machine that I'm premiering today with Joe Silva's 66 Red Eye, which happens to be mounted in a base similar to this. And you'll see in my still shots that I'll post after the premiere today how you want to anchor the machine head to the base so that something like this is less likely to happen. So definitely make sure you check out those still shots of Joe Silva's machine as I'm prepping it after the premiere to be shipped to him out in California. And whenever I ship to the West Coast, I'm always a little bit cautious because I've had some near misses out there where people that especially work with USPS seem to be a little bit less than kind when it comes to machines and how they handle them. Even though I mark them up all over the place as fragile, they just seem to discount that, and they seem to be real rough with them. I'm trying to be kind in my words. They beat the heck out of my packages when they go to the West Coast. So I'm always a little bit above and beyond, even from my extreme packing method. I tend to take a little bit of extra precaution even beyond what I normally do in reinforcing them for arriving safe and sound. So this has been an interesting unboxing with Tammy's Singer 1591. It just goes to show one little thing can all of a sudden be a game changer as far as what can happen to that machine in transit. And I have folks that ship machines all the time, and they ask for tips, and I point them to my videos and that. But this is one of those situations where I haven't maybe emphasized enough that when you're shipping a machine that is in a wooden base like this, the extra steps that need to be taken to, again, making that a single unit, mounting that base to that machine head, mounting that machine head to that base, and strapping it down so that it's anchored well. In this case, I don't know if that really would have made a difference, because from what I can see, the machine was never anchored to these points on the base properly, and it just came loose. And the machine head again survived really well. The bentwood cover and the bentwood base did not. So it is what it is. This will be a project, and once Tammy sees this, I'm sure she's going to be like, "Oh gosh, I never expected that to happen," because again, she really did put a lot of effort into the packing. But you know what? When I'm done with it, when I'm done with putting this base back together and gluing it, and it has to be clamped and everything so that it's a secure base to protect this beautiful 1591, we are going to have a absolute jaw-dropping machine base, that Tammy will be able to enjoy. Again, this is her dream machine, and I want to make sure when it leaves the workshop eventually that it's going to be something that she can be absolutely proud of. if she takes it to sewing classes or quilting expos or quilting retreats or whatever, she's going to be able to have a machine and a base that she can be absolutely proud of, and a base that she can trust as well. So there you go. Another unboxing with some unexpected surprises, but Tammy was very smart to send it to this workshop, send it to my workshop, where we can make it right. All right, God bless. Stay tuned for other great unboxings like this and other great videos. So thanks for attending this premiere, and watch for other ones coming up soon. Take care.